Hey guys, Andy here. Welcome if you're new. If you're not new, hi. It's been a minute. I'm coming to you barefaced, bright-eyed, and bushy-tailed. That is strong. We are drinking pina coladas, which I've never had before, but it is very delicious. We're going to do a get ready with me so I can tell you where I've been for the last month. So I do have a primer. Okie dokie. This is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, just the original. I'm just going to take this and run with it. So I apologize, first and foremost, because it was an unexpected leave of absence. I did not have any intentions on being gone for a month. Just about. I think it's been a month, either just right over, right under, I believe it's been right over a month. But I'm going to talk about all the things that have happened. And why. So to start off, the first, originally I was only going to take a week off because I was going through some pretty intense depression. I was having issues sleeping because my fiance just started a new job, which he likes, but he is now a third shift worker, and my PTSD cannot handle the fact that he is gone at night. Like, even though nothing has ever happened in our apartment, nothing bad has ever happened, like where I live currently, my brain can't stop spiraling of what if something does happen and now you're home alone at night. I'm just going to give that primer a minute to really sink in. And I don't like that. My brain doesn't like that. I do see, and this is going to be a reel, so like if you don't want to hear the realness, I totally understand. I'll catch you in my next video. I'm going back to my regular scheduled uploads, and I will see you in the next one. But this is going to be a real talk. I suffer from PTSD, anxiety, depression. I have borderline personality disorder and OCD. And from my OCD, I have dermatillomania, which is obsessive skin picking. So those are all the mental things that I deal with on the daily. And my PTSD, it's CPTSD because it stems from childhood trauma. I've had things that have happened as an adult too, but like it started from childhood trauma. But we're not here specifically to talk about my trauma. But I'm just saying, so originally I was going to be gone for just a week, and it wasn't going to be a big deal, because I just needed to fix my sleeping schedule. For foundation, I'm going to do my Shiseido Synchro Skin Radiant Lifting in the shade Opal, and I'm going to mix it. I do 1 pump of each. This is my Yensa Super Serum Silk Foundation in the shade Light Medium. And then after I put this all on my face, I'll do an extra pump of the Shiseido, because that's just, I've been liking that. I have not worn makeup this whole month that I've been away. So, yeah, that's been lovely. I feel very disjointed. But so originally I was just going to take a week off. And I was like, you can take a week off. People take time off all the time. It will be fine. Well, the week turned into a month, and not due to my mental health. My mom died when I was 17, so it's been, this July will be, this coming July will be 11 years since my mom passed. So I just have my dad, but me and my dad have never had a great relationship, and this is pertinent backstory. My dad showed up at my doorstep one night about a month ago at like 11 p.m. during my little week hiatus. Showed up at my door. He didn't even know where I lived because my dad and I are estranged, but he knew my apartment complex. So he asked one of my neighbors which apartment I lived in. And apparently my neighbor told him. So he knocked on my door at 11 o'clock at night in tears, begging me for help. My dad, for the last 11 years, has been with a woman who has been mentally, emotionally, verbally, and physically abusive to him. I have seen it firsthand. I have taken the brunt of it because for about a year we lived with my dad. If you go back to the very beginning of my channel, I was living with my dad to try and help them out. My dad is an avid drug user, but he showed up at my doorstep, said that he was 3 months sober from meth, and I could tell that he was sober in the way that he presented himself. He said that he was getting evicted from his house, that he hadn't been working because said girlfriend broke his arm. So he couldn't go to work because he's a factory worker. He is electricity, and so the way where I live, your utilities are all bundled into one. So like if your utilities get shut off, your electric, your water, your heat, like it all gets shut off because it's one bill. So he said he hadn't taken a shower in like 8 weeks. He hadn't eaten a real meal. All of the things, right? So I told him, I was like, okay, you're my dad, I'll help you. So that's exactly what I did for the last month. My dad was living, sleeping on my living room floor for the last month, and I didn't want to film because my dad was sitting, my filming setup is in my living room. So my dad's little nest was right in front of where I film. And I just didn't want to film and have him be talking in the background or him do something in the background. And I was also under massive amounts of stress with him being here because we weren't on good terms, but he's my dad and he needed help, so I was going to help him. Well, I was basically turned into his caseworker. I'm going to now go into concealer. This is my Maybelline Super Stay Activewear in the shade 10. I was the one making all of his phone calls, so I had to call his insurance company because he was getting short-term disability through his work. But of course he hadn't gotten it yet because he did not have a working phone, so they couldn't contact him. I had to call his job, his HR department, because, he couldn't. My dad has never been good at being on the phone, so I became his caseworker. I had to make all these calls for him. We fed him, we housed him, because he stayed here for 3 weeks of the month. I'm going to let that just sit for a second. We paid for his medications because we got him a doctor I took him to all of his doctor's appointments, his physical therapy appointments. Like, I physically drove him there. We paid for his medications so that he could get back on his meds. All of that. Everything was going fantastic. And I'm sharing this because this is my story to tell. And I need to get this off my chest. And I just want to explain to you guys why I was gone for a month. And I just feel... me and my therapist both agree that this will help me, because then I can get this out to you guys, and that I can always look back on this video as well. In case you're like, why are you telling us all this? You're never this personal. Because I feel like it. I want this for me. So my only rule for my dad to stay here, which my dad is 56. My only rule for him to stay here was to stay off meth, and to not go see said ex-girlfriend without me or my fiance with him. And for the first 3 weeks, he complied. He was doing so good. And the plan was he was going to stay with me until he got his short-term disability check. And then I was going to rent a U-Haul because my dad doesn't have a license. He was going to pay for it with that money, but I was going to rent it in my name. And we were going to load up all of his stuff, and I was going to drive him to Kentucky to go live with my aunt, his sister, so that he could start over. Because if he stays in these towns, he will never get away from this woman, because he's tried. They'll break up for a few weeks or a few months, but they will always end up getting back together. Because my dad will eventually go back to being on drugs, and they party together. That's what they do. And I'm keeping her name out of it because she knows who she is. She's never going to see this. It doesn't matter. But for powder, I'm going to use my Aesthetica Translucent Loose Setting Powder. And I'm just going to powder where we did concealer first with a powder puff so that we can do cream products. And then after the cream products, I will powder the rest of my face. But last weekend, my dad decided, because she would message him periodically and my dad would ignore it, he was doing so good. And then last Saturday, he snuck out of my apartment like a teenager at 9 p.m. to go see her and do drugs with her. So I waited up all night on Sunday, canceled all of my plans that I had on Sunday. He shows up at my house around noon. We had a very not nice conversation. But I thought everything was fine. I was just like, listen, I'm going to give you, because he knew the rules, so I should have kicked him out then and there. But I didn't. I talked to my aunt, and she's like, you should just give him one more chance. Like, you know, he's never done this before. You know, a slip up was bound to happen. And basically my aunt talked me into letting him stay. And I was like, okay, you know, I'll give him one more chance. So I told him, I was like, you can stay, but you are not to go see her again, period. End of story. So, what does he do? Goes and sees her anyway. He, after I went, because I had been up all night waiting for him to show back up at my apartment. For contour, I'm going in with the Fenty matchstick in the shade Amber. He, wrote me a note threatening me and left while I was taking a nap. He packed up all of his little nest, his most important things, left the rest of his stuff here, and the note was threatening me not to touch his stuff. And he left while I was sleeping. After all this progress had been made, you know, because he was about to get his money, he left to go back and get with her and to go back to the drugs. So then he shows up at my house, so that was on Sunday. So then he shows up last Monday, to get some of his things, some clothes and stuff, and he threatens me in person about his things. And he was really nasty because he was high on meth. I could tell he was high when he showed up here. His mail was getting delivered to my apartment because we had set his mail to be delivered here so that it wasn't going to that old house, so that his ex-girlfriend wouldn't be getting his mail and throwing it away. For cream cheek products, this is the Milani Sun-Kissed Glow palette. I'm going to use all 3 shades. So I saw him rifling through my mailbox trying to look for his mail, I would assume. But, like, just because your mail is coming to an address, like, you don't live here, you don't have a right to rifle through my mailbox. So I went to the post office and, I got his mail stopped from coming here. But they advised me to go to the police station to have them tell him to not do that. So I went to the police station about it, and tomorrow, because now he's sending me threatening messages, and I blocked his Facebook account, and he's creating new Facebook accounts to send me threatening messages. Tomorrow I am going to court to try to get an order of protection against my own father. So, wish me luck. I'm not excited, but he's not really giving me any choice. Because, I called the police and was like, what are my options? And they were just like, really, your only option is an order of protection. Because then if the order of protection is granted, if he contacts me after that, then he'll spend the night in jail. So, that's where I've been for the last month. Is dealing with all of that. It was supposed to just be a week because of my own mental health. Then it turned into a month of absolute horror and bullshit. Even if he were to get sober and leave his girlfriend now, that man is dead to me, and I never want to see him or speak to him again. Because for my own mental health, I just can't. And my therapist agrees. Not that it would matter if she did or not. I, make my own choices, but I've already been to my therapy appointment and spoken about it, so my therapist is all up to snuff. Because, I was not okay. And that's why she recommended I make this video, because, I've missed making makeup content. I have a whole huge pile of things that I need to haul for you guys that have just been sitting here waiting for me to do it. But just haven't had the energy or the want. And like I said, I didn't want to film with him laying right in front of me, and I don't like filming in front of people. That's a me issue, 100%. But I don't like filming in front of people. I don't even like filming when Ian's here. I'm just powdering the rest of my face now. So, yep, that's where I've been. I'm going to get out my powder products really quick and clean up my area a little bit, and we will get back to the rest of the story. Alright, so I did my brows off camera. It's just the NYX Micro Brow Pencil in Cool Ash Brown and the NYX Brow Glue in Dark Brown. So, I'm going to use the Alamar Complexion Trio in Fair Light. I'm going to use mostly this shade to bronze. I'm going to use a touch of this shade for the very back. And then I'm going to clean it up with this. And I'm going to probably put a little bit of this on my under eye just to brighten. Just because. But back to the story. So that was Monday. All right, air conditioner. Our AC is set to like a temperature, so when it hits that temp, it kicks itself off. But like, that was aggressive. So that was Monday. Yeah, Tuesday he showed up. Okay. So Wednesday I went to the police station. I told you that. So then the police were like, okay, well, when he comes to get his things, he has to have a police officer there. He has to have a standby because he's threatened you. And I have it in writing that he's threatened me. And oh boy, did that piss my dad off. Because to my dad, calling the police is being a snitch, even when it's warranted. Like, so he didn't like that the police had to be there for him to get his things. That happened on Friday, this Friday that we just had. Because I'm going to post this, today is the 18th, I'm going to post this tomorrow the 19th. So, just so you're aware, this all happened last week. All the hoopla, but it was all this last month. It was all the end of August, beginning of September. So, but yep, so my dad got his things Friday, which all he had here were a couple boxes of vinyl records, clothes, some model cars, because my dad builds model cars, some CDs and DVDs, a toolbox, like a small toolbox, and his 2 guitars. Which is why he was threatening me. He's like, don't touch my stuff, don't mess with my stuff, or I'll find out, I'll know, and I'll kick your ass. Like, I'm not going to touch your stuff. I don't want your stuff. I just want you to get your stuff and get out. But he was very adamant that I was going to touch his things. So, when he was here with the police, all he did, like, he didn't say a word to me. He just gave me dirty looks the entire time. So that was fun. And then he opened both of his guitars to make sure that I didn't touch them. Like, first of all, even if I was petty, I know better than that. Like, I'm not gonna mess with your stuff so that you can then tell the police that I messed with your stuff and try to get me in trouble. Because he would do that because they're there. For blush, I'm going to do a mix of my NYX Sweet Cheeks blush in the shade Red Riot and my Wet n Wild blush in Seeing Red. And so then him creating a Facebook account, a new one, to message me all the nasty things, that happened Saturday. So that's when I called the police and they told me about the order of protection. So I go tomorrow. So I will probably let you guys know in a further video if you want to know. Like, please let me know in the comments if you liked this get ready with me, that like of me getting like actually really real with you guys. Like, if this was too real, definitely let me know, and I do not have to update you guys any further on the matters or situations. Like, but if you want to know, if you want a follow-up video, please let me know, because I can make one on, you know, like what happens tomorrow, what the verdict is as far as the order of protection goes. Because that's really all that it is do I get it, yes or no? Trust the process. I know, this looks scary. I really think I'm going to declutter this. So, Dubs, if you're watching this, if you still want this red blush, I'll message you on Instagram because I just don't think I like it. And I know you were wanting a red blush. because I just don't feel like I can make that. And I'm gonna need my actual powder. Because, like, that's the only blush in my collection that I just feel like I can't make work for me, is that one specific shade. But that's where I've been for the last month. I hope you guys understand. It was not planned of me, and I apologize sincerely. See, once I put powder on top, like, look at the difference. I do think it ends up looking pretty, but the fact that I have to go in with setting powder over top of it, like, that's just an extra step that I literally don't have to do with any other blush in my collection. And I just don't want to have to do that. It's just like, it's too much. It is too much for me. And I know that Dubs was wanting a red blush. We had talked about it. So, if you still want it, you can have it. Because if I want a red blush, this red Riot shade will give me the effect. I'm not trying to flick you off. This will give me the effect that I'm wanting. But see, after I put more powder on, I think it looks fine. Like, it looks doable. The fact that I have to do that is a little ridiculous. And then for highlight, I'm going to go in. This is my Naked Cosmetics pigment in the shade Desert Sunset. I'm going to use this as a highlight today because I need to get another use on it. And I think that it's light enough. Oh yeah, it'll work. It'll do, donkey. But yeah, so that's where I've been. That's what I've been doing. Otherwise, I have just been lounging around, going to my own doctor's appointments. I don't remember if I showed you guys that I got the other side of my nose pierced. What else happened? Just trying to think of what else has happened. I got diagnosed with arthritis in my knee, well, all over, but specifically really badly in my knees. So I see the rheumatologist on Halloween. So that'll be fun, because we're pretty sure I have rheumatoid arthritis. This was the Milani holographic silver shimmer setting spray. Say that 5 times fast. It's just the one I'm currently using. How rude that a piece of hair came out of my little bun. But we tested for my RH factor, and I am RH negative, but you can still have rheumatoid arthritis and be RH negative. But I either have osteoarthritis or rheumatoid arthritis, and I won't know till I go to that appointment. Either way, it sucks. And let me tell you, arthritis at almost 29, I'll be 29 next month, sucks. It just rained here all day yesterday, and oh my god, that put me in such a flare-up. I was in tears today, like earlier. Not yesterday. It rained all day Sunday, so yesterday I was in so much pain. I was in tears. Let me move you real quick so I can get my palette, because you were on top of my palette. I'm going to go in with my Milani eyeshadow primer, and we'll start on the eyes. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but we'll do a thing. My body no longer makes insulin at all, so that's fun. So we're looking into getting me an insulin pump, because, like, we just keep upping my insulin and it's not affecting my numbers. like at all. It'll work, like, we'll up my long-acting insulin, it'll work for like a week, and then my blood sugars will just shoot right back up, regardless of what I eat, what I drink, what I do, don't do. Doesn't seem to matter. And that's just been really frustrating, not gonna lie. So I see, what is it? The department, I forget what the department is. But I see that lady, that specialist, October 2nd. So we will see how that goes. I'm just using my Huda Beauty new nudes. There's no new pans because, you know, I haven't used it in a month. But I'm thinking we're going to do a purpley look. This is what I'm thinking. I just saw my sleep doctor. Because I got diagnosed with pulmonary hypertension as a comorbidity to my sleep apnea. So I had to see my sleep doctor just to touch base. But my BiPAP's doing its job. We had to up my oxygen that I get nightly from 4 liters to 5 liters. But other than that, my BiPAP's doing its job. So that's good. That makes me happy. What else has happened? I see orthopedic next week to talk about cortisone shots for my knees for the arthritis, because that's like the next course of action, I guess, for pain. So we'll see how that goes. I'm honestly not super excited about that because I don't really want cortisone shots, but if that's what needs to happen, then that's what needs to happen. Alright, I'm going to come back when I'm done with my eye look, because I don't really have anything else to say. I think that was all of why I was gone. So, I'm going to put a shimmer on, finish that eye, and I'll come back and show you the final look. So, I will be right back for you guys. Alright, so, this is everything done. Just put on some mascara, lipstick, called it a day. I appreciate you guys sticking through and watching this. For those of you who did, I'm sorry that I got a little extra personal. I normally don't do that on here, but I needed to do it for me, and I'm sure there are some of you out there who were wondering where I've been for the last month, so I hope that this was a good enough explanation. I will do my best this week to get back to my regular scheduled programming. I have Ipsies from last month and this month that need unboxed. I'll probably just do them all in one video. I also have a new unboxing. I've got all of my projects that need updated. All of the things. So, you know, bear with me just a little bit, because mentally, emotionally, I'm still not okay. So I might have 1 or 2 less uploads per week. but I'm going to do my best to get back to my regularly scheduled program because I didn't have anything pre-filmed. So I hope that was a good enough explanation. If you have any questions, please don't be afraid to comment. I will do my best to answer them that I can. If you guys would like an updated get ready with me, I have a whole pile of new products that I will be doing a haul with. It might be the next video or the video after that. Within the next week, you'll be seeing this huge haul. It was stuff from Amy. Thank you, Amy. I have not forgotten about you. Things got crazy, but I have a giant package that I had gotten from Amy, plus some stuff that I picked up from TJ Maxx and Walmart. So I have a huge haul in front of me of stuff that I need to haul for you, and then obviously I want to also use these things, so I definitely have a lot of product that I can do some other get ready with me's. So if you would like an update, because I only have one more update, it's if I get the order of protection or not. So if you would like an update on this, just let me know in the comments, because if you don't, that's fine. Going forward, I can keep this channel strictly makeup, because I know a lot of people watch this kind of content for an escape. So if I'm coming on here telling you all of my problems, I know that that's not an escape for people either. But I just wanted to be real with you guys for a minute and let you know where I've been, what's been going on. So I apologize if that wasn't everybody's cup of tea. I appreciate those of you that are here, that have listened, and stayed along with me. I don't think I have anything else to say for this video. I'm just overwhelmed by all of the makeup in front of me, so I need to just start playing with it and doing something with it so I can get it cataloged and put into my collection so I can get back into the swing of things. So let me know any thoughts, questions, comments you guys have down below, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.